Hello, students, and welcome to Fuel this week. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. I still wish that we could be in person, and I'm sorry that we can't. We're going to still do Zoom meetings frequently throughout all this. Maybe not every week, but we certainly are going to continue to try and see each other face to face as we go through this. Like I've been saying, if you need me for anything, if you just want to talk, want to chat, need someone to talk to on the phone, send a text, whatever it is, please reach out to me, reach out to Jenny, reach out to any of our leaders. We would be glad to talk to you, to catch up, to just connect with you guys in that way. It's been a while, so it's been tough. I'm in the sanctuary right now, and what you probably can't see, if you were listening Sunday morning, you know that this is a thing. Some of our church members came in and put the faces of some of our church members, put Yodas over here. I'm actually going to grab one of them. I'm sorry if I go out of the frame. I'm going to keep talking while this happens because I'm going out in the audience. I'm really excited about this one, and I hope everyone watches because it's going to be really fun. When I get the privilege of being here with Carly. Carly, how are you? Less talkative than usual, but Carly's here, and I get to, at least when I'm teaching tonight, bring the word to the Sewell family. The whole Sewell family's over here in the pews, which is really fun and silly. So it's almost like some of you are here, and it's almost like getting to teach in front of actual people, which I miss doing. But until we can meet again, we're going to keep doing this here, and we're going to get right back into our series that we started last week. I feel like I just popped out of a rocket ship or out of a cannonball. I'm a little hyped up. I got a lot of energy, and I'm going to use it all right here to teach the word. We started our series last week called Throwbacks. Throwbacks is a series where we take old Bible stories that you know, that you love, that you watch VeggieTales of, that you watch Superbook videos of, whatever it is that you watched as a kid or read in Sunday school. Those stories, we are bringing them back to life. We're going to bring them back, talk about them, and see what God has in store for us as we look at His Word. Last week we talked about Abraham and Isaac. Really cool story. If you haven't checked that out, go back, listen to the story of Abraham and Isaac so you can get caught up on this series. But tonight, we're going to be in another story that is another one of my favorites from as a kid, and that is the story of Daniel and the Lion's Den. Daniel and the Lion's Den, that's where we're going to be tonight. So if you have your Bibles, and if you don't, pause the video, go around your house, find a Bible. I'm sure there's one somewhere. If there's not, pull up your phone, download the YouVersion Bible app or any Bible app. If that doesn't work, go to your computer. Just type in Daniel chapter 6. It'll pop up. There's a way for you to follow along right now. And I'm going to be in the ESV Bible. So if that is not your translation, maybe you want to hop over to the ESV, or maybe you're just going to try and follow along as best you can. Whatever works for you, that's what we're going to do. So Daniel chapter 6. We're going to start in verse 3. I didn't actually turn to chapter 6, but here I am now. Daniel chapter 6, verses 3. We're going to start here and go verses 3 through 9. So if you haven't gotten there, pause the video, get there, pause. All right, now we're in it. Then this Daniel became distinguished above all the other high officials and satraps because of an excellent spirit was in him. And the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. Then the high officials and the satraps sought to find ground for complaint against Daniel with regard to the kingdom. But they could find no ground for complaint or any fault, because he was faithful and no error or fault was found in him. Then these men said, "We shall not find any ground for complaint against this Daniel unless we find it in connection with the law of his God." That's important. Then these high officials and satraps came by agreement to the king and said to him, "O King Darius, live forever. All the high officials of the kingdom, the prefects and the satraps, the counselors and the governors are agreed that the king should establish an ordinance and enforce an injunction that whoever makes petition to any god or man for 30 days except to you, O king, shall be cast into a den of lions. Now, O king, establish the injunction and sign the document so that it cannot be changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be revoked." Therefore, King Darius signed the document and injunction. Okay, lots of words, lots of things there. Let's summarize what's going on. You guys feel the energy that I have right now, because I've got a lot of it. I've been sitting down doing a lot of things today, and now I finally get to get up here, teach the word. I'm excited. So, Daniel was set up. He was set up. He was kind of like our man Joseph way back in the day when we talked about that. He was set up to about to be ruler over basically almost everything under the king. He was about to be in charge because he was faithful. The king really liked Daniel, and he was the man with a plan, and he was ready to do the thing. Like I said, the king was planning to rule over all the entire kingdoms, but the other officials, the other people in the kingdom that maybe also had some power, clearly had some power, were jealous. They were jealous of Daniel, then they were mad at Daniel. They wanted what Daniel had, but they couldn't have it, so they sought out to take Daniel down. How are they going to take Daniel down? Great question. They pretty much were like, what do we do? How do we get Daniel out of here? How do we do this? How do we do this? All right. He's pretty good. Can't find anything wrong. But he does pray to God a lot. He does seem to talk a lot about his faith, and that seems to be really important to him. How can we use that against Daniel? And so they brought to the king. They appealed to the king's ego. They said, "King, may you live forever. King, O king, O king. We have an idea. This might be crazy, but we have an idea. This might be a crazy idea, but let's just listen. It might be crazy. But what if for the next 30 days, just 30 days, like a month, that's nothing. For the next 30 days, if anyone prays to some other god or shows faith in anyone other than you, O great king, we'll just throw them in the den of lions." Does that sound good? King? We just throw them in the den of lions. And I wonder, I wish I could have been there for this conversation. I'm sure it wasn't quite like that. I'm sure the king was just eating up the ego feed that they were just hurling at him. But the king was like, you know what? It's not a bad idea. It's pretty good. I like that. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of everyone worshiping and praising me for the next 30 days at least. So the king said, "All right, sign the documents. Where do I sign? Give me the pen and paper. Let's do this. Do I do it? Is there an e-sign? Is it going to go to my email? Is there something on Facebook I can sign it?" No. Oh, he grabbed the pen and paper. He signed it away, and thus it was. Anyone that prayed to any other god, showed any other faith in anything else other than him, King Darius, was going to be thrown in a den of lions. Now, King Darius probably was not thinking very much. He was probably not thinking that his good friend Daniel, who he's about to appoint to be a ruler over all, could be in trouble here with this. He was just fed by his ego, and that's all that mattered to him. So, point number 1. Whenever God calls you, there will always be obstacles to overcome. Whenever God calls you, there will always be obstacles to overcome. Daniel has been called. He's been called by God, and now he's about to be appointed by the king. And now he's got to face obstacles. Sometimes these obstacles in our lives are going to be circumstantial obstacles, things that we cannot control, things that happen in our day-to-day life that we did not foresee, twists and turns. For example, right now, we're dealing with a big twist and turn that we did not see coming. And God has called us to stay Christians. God has called us to give him the praise and glory and the honor and live our lives in accordance to his will. And now we have an obstacle. Here's our obstacle, COVID-19, the coronavirus. That is our obstacle right now. That is one. We have sometimes the obstacles are people. Sometimes we have to deal with people that are obstacles. In Daniel's situation right now, there are people that are trying to tear him down, that are trying to bring him down, that are trying to get him killed. Now, that may not be as extreme as the situations we may face in our day-to-day lives. People may not be trying to come for our lives, but there are going to be people that stand in our way of fulfilling the call that God has for our lives. That could be in the face of just temptation. That could just be in the face of someone that's trying to pull you down towards a sin that maybe you know you shouldn't be doing, or in doing a certain thing, or hanging around certain people that you shouldn't be hanging around with. There are going to be people that are going to try and that are going to be obstacles in your life when you are trying to fulfill the calling that God has for you. So, when you are facing these obstacles, this is the best piece of advice I could give you. When you are facing these obstacles, lean into the love of God and the love of others. When you are facing these obstacles, lean into the love of God and the love of others. Trust in the Lord. Believe that he loves you and wants the best for you. Then turn to the people in your life. Turn to the people in your life that are going to speak truth into you, other believers, people that are older than you, people that love you, people that are going to speak truth and point you in the right direction. If you don't have those people in your life, I promise you have one, me. If you don't have at least one, I promise you have two, me and Jenny. If you don't have that, I can give you three, me, Jenny, and our pastor Jeremy. If you need people in your life to point you in the right direction, to speak truth over you, and to give you the direction and the guidance that comes from years of experience, that comes from pouring this into our lives, pouring this into our hearts, come reach out to us. We're not perfect. We don't have all the answers, but we know that we can help point you towards God and point you towards Jesus, the one true way that's going to get you past these obstacles and help you fulfill the calling that God has on your life. So, when you face these obstacles, lean into God's love and lean into the love of others. Next thing, Daniel's faith he was specifically targeted because of his faith. When these other officials could not find any other fault with him, they targeted his faith. So, just like Daniel, our faith is going to make us a target. Our faith is going to make us a target. People are going to come after us. People know that we're believers. We wear the banner proudly that we are believers in Jesus Christ. That is something that you should know. I don't remember when I talked about this, but I remember my brother has Consalvo on his bicep. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, if you're watching this and I'm making fun of Bradley, but I'm not making fun of him. I use it as an example. My brother has a tattoo that says Consalvo, that's my last name, and our last name, on his bicep. And I said, as Christians, we wear the tattoo Christian on our bicep, on our heart. It is on display for others to see. It is not for others to see us, but others to see God. But people know, and people are going to target you because you are a Christian, and that is going to be part of the obstacles. And that's part of the obstacles that Daniel is facing right here in this story. Let's keep reading, see what happens. Verse 10. When Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber open towards Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks to his God, as he had done previously. Then these men came by agreement and found Daniel making petition and plea before his God. Then they came near and said to the king concerning the injunction, "O king, did you not sign an injunction that anyone who makes petition to any god or man within 30 days except to you, O king, shall be cast to the den of lions?" The king answered and said, "The thing stands fast according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be revoked." Then they answered and said before the king, "Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or the injunction you have signed, but makes a petition 3 times a day." Then the king, when he heard these words, was very much distressed, and he set his mind to deliver Daniel. And he labored till the sun went down to rescue him. Then these men came by agreement to the king and said to the king, "Know, O king, that is the law of the Medes and Persians, that no injunction or ordinance that the king establishes can be changed." Then the king commanded, and Daniel was brought and cast into the den of lions. The king declared to Daniel, "May your God, who you serve continually, deliver you." And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that nothing might be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. No diversions were brought to him, and sleep fled from him. Oh boy. The king realized he messed up. He forgot about Daniel, the one that is so faithful to his God. He forgot all about him. And now, these men who were after Daniel found Daniel praying, as Daniel does, got him to be thrown right into the den of lions. The king tried to fight against it, but he knew he signed the papers. It can't be changed. It's too late. It's too late. Now the king had to do what he had to do, and he threw Daniel into the den of lions. So, point number 3. The first, remember, whenever God calls you, there will be obstacles to overcome. That was point 1. Point 2, our faith makes us a target. Point 3, be like Daniel and own your faith. Be like Daniel and own your faith. Daniel knew. He knew that had just been signed. He knew that the rule had just been put in place. But that did not change Daniel's mind. That did not change the path that Daniel was going to take. He went upstairs to his window facing Jerusalem, And he prayed 3 times a day so that everyone could hear him. Maybe not everyone could hear him, but everyone knew what he was doing. So be like Daniel and own your faith. Own it. Own it. It is yours. It is a part of your identity. It is a part of who you are. It changes who you are and makes you a better person. It makes you a person that is more Christ-like. It does make you someone that seeks to honor God and love others and cherish his world and seek to give others the good news that they could be a part of what you have. Daniel owns that. He knows that. No fear of the lion's den is going to stop his faith. Be like Daniel and own your faith. Own it. Own it. Make it yours. Make it so personal. Make it all yours. Make it entrenched in your heart. Ooh, that's good. Daniel does not shy away from this situation. He digs into it, and he owns his faith. All right, what happens? Daniel's in the lion's den. If you don't know the story, here's how it ends. Then, at the break of day, the king arose and went in haste to the den of lions. As he came near the den where Daniel was, he cried out in a tone of anguish. The king declared to Daniel, "O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, who you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" Then Daniel said to the king, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not been harmed. And they have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him, and also before you, O king. I have done no harm." The king was exceedingly glad, and commanded to Daniel that Daniel be taken up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no kind of harm was found on him because he had trusted in his God. Final thing, our God is a God of protection. He is protecting you now, and he wants you to fulfill his calling upon your life. God is a God of protection. Now, this world has obstacles. This world has sin, and I can't promise you that every moment's going to be perfect, and there won't be some pain along the way, and things are going to go left and right, and I'm not saying things are going to be perfect, but our God is a God of protection. He protected Daniel, who is faithful to him, and he'll protect you through this. He'll protect you. He'll protect your heart. He'll protect your soul, and ultimately he has you. No matter what ends up happening in your life, if you are giving your life to Jesus, if you are daily devoted to faith in him, then you're his, and he's got you, and he's going to protect you, and he's going to love you deeply, and he's going to cherish you deeply. He made you in his own image, and he wants to protect that, and he wants to honor that as you seek to honor him. God loves you deeply. Through this crazy time that we're living in, God is there to protect you. He is there to love you. He's there to be by your side no matter what. All you got to do is love him in return. All you got to do is give him the time of day in return. All you got to do is talk to him. All you got to do is learn more about him. Living Christian life isn't easy all the time, but the roadmap is there. Live to honor God. Own your faith. Own your faith, because you know that God is a God of protection. You know that God is a God who loves you. And despite the obstacles and the target on our backs, God is a God of protection. So we need to own our faiths. If you have any questions or want to talk more about this, or if you've never given your life to Jesus, or if you've never experienced the love of God that I'm talking about right here, please call me. Please text me. Please get a hold of me. Talk to anyone, any of our leaders, me or Pastor Jeremy here. We'd love to talk to you more about what it means to trust in Jesus, trust in God. The same God that raised Jesus from the dead coming up on Easter, same God that got Daniel out of the lion's den, is the same God that can live inside of you, and he lives inside of me because I've given my life over to him and trusted in him fully with my life. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for how you are a God of protection, a God of love, and a God that never fails. He never fails. God, we love you so much, and we are thankful to be able to gather together in this unusual time over the internet. I pray that this message blesses our students and blesses anyone whose ears it touches. And that's because of the power of your word, not the power of my words. We love you, God. Amen. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us here for Fuel. I hope you guys have a good week.